Well, first the U.S. Census Bureau severed all ties with ACORN, and now the U.S. Senate has voted overwhelmingly to prevent ACORN from bidding on any further taxpayer funding. All of this in the wake of stunning undercover videos like this one.
She's going to have this business in the house with a bunch of girls coming in doing these things, you know, performing tricks, and she's going to give me the money so that I can pay the mortgage.
For the mortgage.
Okay? That's how we want to work it potentially.
But your name is going to be on the mortgage. Your name is going to be on the.
But it's no one has to know where the money's coming from.
No.
That was, of course, undercover video shot by an independent filmmaker, James O'Keefe, and posted on the website biggovernment.com. Now, the Republican National Lawyers Association is calling for the feds to investigate ACORN, to conduct a thorough investigation of this group, and perhaps to do something about the millions already doled out to this group. They've already got your taxpayer dough. Joining us now, attorney Cleta Mitchell. She was with that group I just mentioned. Hi, Cleta.
Hi, Megan. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, thanks. So the Senate has taken taken it halfway down the field by voting to cut off future funding to the group. We'll see whether the House follows suit. There may be additional troubles there. But in any event, put that to the side. What more does your group now want?
Well, Megan, the Republican National Lawyers Association has been following ACORN closely for several years, and all through the election last year, and asked Congress. I personally testified before Congress a year ago, July, asking Congress to do something about investigating ACORN and its voter registration fraud that we know that they have been engaged in all over the country. But what ACORN has always said is, well, you know, that's voter registration. What we really do is operate in our housing offices. All three of these videotapes of these undercover filmmaker and his friend posing as someone people wanting to engage in prostitution took place in the housing offices with ACORN employees explaining how to defraud the IRS and file false financial information with the IRS to qualify for federal housing assistance to buy a house that the ACORN employees knew or were told was going to be used for prostitution. We're asking HUD, the Office of Inspector General, to investigate, to conduct a thorough forensic audit and accounting of all the federal money that ACORN has received, and to try to ascertain whether it was misspent, spent for illegal purposes, and if so, to refund that money to the taxpayers.
Let me ask you this, Cleta, because I mean, I've taken a look at this as an attorney, taken a look at these tapes, just these tapes, forget the other matters. And I have real questions about whether I see an actual crime on here. Nefarious conduct, obviously, you know, I mean, you can come up with all sorts of the words, but I'm not sure that these show an actual crime because no false tax reform return was ever actually filed. In other words, there's plenty of advice given out about how to do it, but since it was a sting and they never actually did it. My question for you is, let's say I'm right. Let's say no crime was committed on these tapes. HUD could still get involved and do all the things you're asking it to do, could it not?
Absolutely, and that's why we are asking the Office of Inspector General to go in and follow the money. That's what their job is. In every cabinet agency, there is an Inspector General whose job it is to watch out for the tax money, make sure that when grantees or contractors are receiving federal money, that when they sign those forms, applying for the check to be sent to the organization, that's a crime if you state anything that is false on that form. So let's say that they were using their federal dollars to advise these people of how to engage in illegal acts. When they file a form requesting the next installment of their federal grant, that's a crime. Only the Inspector General can really have the resources to track those dollars and find out what ACORN's really been doing. Understand, ACORN is not just one organization.
No, it's 300 plus, and that's the problem.
300 plus.
They claim,
that's
oh,
right.
You know, we divvy the money up, so on and so forth, but that's a whole other matter. But let me ask you this. Even if it's not a crime, even if they didn't commit an actual crime, these workers or so on, doesn't the Housing and Urban Development Office have the right to patrol waste, fraud, and abuse among those
That's right.
to whom it's doling out the money. So even if it's not a crime,
That's right.
can't they say, look, we got concerns about waste, we got concerns about fraud, we have concerns now about abuse based on just these few tapes we've seen, and therefore, as the people who dole out the dough, we want to come in and finally, someone can see ACORN's books.
That's absolutely right. And in fact, if the viewers want to help, they can go to the Office of Inspector General website at HUD, and they can call the hotline, they can email, they can demand an investigation, because the IG is supposed to be our watchdog to prevent fraud, waste, and abuse in the use and expenditure of federal funds. That's our money, and that is our watchdog, and we need to make sure that they're doing their job, and they've not done it up till now, and it's time that they started actually going in and looking at the books, following the money. We have a lot of evidence that ACORN commingles money and transfers it between and among its myriad of agencies and affiliates. And it's time that someone with the power of the Office of Inspector General did something about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is no one thus far has been able to see the actual books so they can see if the money really is kept in the one office and not shared with the political arm of ACORN and so on and so forth.
That's exactly right.
1.6 million of taxpayer dollars to the housing unit of ACORN last year alone. 8.2 million between 03 and 06. A lot of questions yet to be answered. Cleta Mitchell has truly been on it from the beginning. Cleta, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Megyn.